Hi, I'm Tom Mayonek, host of The Sport Market on Team 1040 and TeamRadio.ca. In my books, as a corporate partner of the National Hockey League and the official airline of all 6 Canadian franchises and another 5 in the U.S., Air Canada was entirely within its rights and marketing prerogative to make the bold and provocative statement it did Wednesday. With the blessing of Air Canada Chief Executive Officer Calvin Rovinescu, Director of Marketing and Communications Denny Van Daal issued an internal letter of concern to NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, a correspondence which was copied to all 6 Canadian clubs. The letter was entirely focused on the rash of head injuries and concussions in the NHL this season and was precipitated by what happened Tuesday night at the Bell Centre when Boston Bruin defenseman Zdeno Chara took out Montreal Canadiens forward Max Pacioretty along the boards and pushed him into the rink board stanchion at the end of the Bruins players' bench. Pacioretty was knocked unconscious, suffered a severe concussion and a fractured 4th vertebrae, while Chara received no additional punishment for the NHL other than the automatic game misconduct. The Chara-Pacioretty hit was the tipping point for Air Canada and saw Van Daal's letter to Bettman suggest that it was increasingly difficult for Air Canada to associate its brand with sports events which could lead to serious and irresponsible accidents. Ultimately, Air Canada threatened to withdraw its sponsorship of the NHL unless the league took firmer action on the issue of headshots, concussions, and player safety. Air Canada had to know such a letter would almost certainly make its way into the public domain, but it has been silent on the matter since. That is something that Air Canada needs to address. How do they play this publicly now that the debate is raging at the highest of corporate and political levels? I personally believe Air Canada could moderate its position, soften the immediate threat of sponsorship termination, and emphasize its commitment to working with the NHL on the important issue of headshots. In short, it could be positioning itself more along the lines of Bell Canada or Tim Hortons on this issue. Not following through with firm corporate conviction would be, in my view, a mistake. On the other hand, the real issue is the NHL, both its lack of decisiveness and vision on concussion management and headshot policy, and its bizarre public relations stance on the matter. The NHL's response was typical Gary Bettman. He suggested Air Canada had the prerogative to do other things with his sponsorship dollars. Bettman was dismissive, arrogant, and essentially spoke in violation of almost every code of partnership public relations that exists in the business of sport. The Commissioner's reaction would be even more troubling were it not par for the course. It's the way he typically handles criticism from the media, public watchdog groups such as the Goldwater Institute, and outgoing owners such as former Coyotes financier Jerry Moyes. Gary Bettman is not the most dynamic of personalities. In fact, public speaking and media relations is not at all his strong suit. It's certainly a major weakness in a commissioner whose main job is to represent the NHL, sell the game, and add value for his owners. It is also another reason why Bettman's hold on his NHL Board of Governors is so unfathomable, especially when he goes after NHL corporate partners the way he did Air Canada. When you watch or listen to Bettman's media conference at jobbing.com Arena on Tuesday night, when you hear him suggest that most head injuries in the NHL are caused by players falling and other accidents when speaking before a U.S. congressional panel, when you hear him rebut a corporate partner the way he did Air Canada, it makes you wonder how the NHL Board of Governors could have been so enthusiastic so as to extend his contract by 5 years earlier this season. For the game's sake, you hope there's an exit clause or termination provision or some Hail Mary line item in his contract. Either way, it's clear now that the NHL Board of Governors is just as responsible, just as culpable as Commissioner Gary Bettman is for the questionable checkerboard leadership he provides professional hockey in North America. And because it's highly unlikely that Bettman will ever change his fundamental personality and approach to public relations, it's apparently something that will continue to constrain the NHL for years to come.